I'd like to tell you something about the man, the saint, whose feast we're celebrating today. At least the Capuchins have been celebrating. The regular church doesn't have any special feast day today, but today we're celebrating the feast of a man called Saint Ignatius of Lacani. Lacani was his hometown in Italy. He was born the second of 9 children, so he had a lot of brothers and sisters. He was a very poor family. He was born in 1701. That's over 300 years ago, so that's a long time ago. But because his mother, when she was carrying him, was having a difficult time, she promised that if she had a safe delivery, if the baby was born okay, her child would enter the Franciscan order. Well, it was a boy, and he was baptized Vincent. And he received a religious education and had the sacraments the way you are receiving a religious education and are gradually getting the sacraments as you prepare for each one as your age is appropriate. Young Vincent loved to go to church, and people began to call him the little saint. But his father did not permit him to pursue that religious vocation that his mother had vowed, because the family depended on his help. You can imagine with 9 children, they probably needed a lot of help. But when he was a teenager, he became very, very ill. And he promised God that if he recovered, he would become a Capuchin, Franciscan. He recovered all right, and his father allowed him to do that when Vincent told him he had made a vow to do it. So his father said, okay. But when his father took him to the Capuchin to enter the order, the one in charge said, sorry. He thought Vincent was too frail, too ill, and not strong enough to live that rigorous life of a Capuchin. But Vincent's family had a very important friend. His title was the Marquis there in Lacani. So he talked to the provincial, put in a good word, and Vincent was accepted into the Capuchin order. But he was given the name Ignatius. When you become a Capuchin, you take a new name because it's like beginning a new life. The way you had a new name when you were baptized, that's when you got your name, because that was a new life for you too. Well, for the last 40 years of his life, Ignatius went about begging. That was an important role in the life of many of the monasteries. Ignatius went out among the people asking for food or drink or anything that would help support the Capuchin's way of life. And the people were very generous to Ignatius because they knew how holy he was, and they gave things to him because of him. When people would come to him, he never sought any fame or recognition. When people would come to him, he would just tell them, trust God, trust God. And many times, God's healing power was channeled through him. Ignatius had a deep devotion to our Blessed Mother. One time, when he was assigned as a cook, and he went out to the well to get some water, when he leaned over, the keys to the friary kitchen fell out of his pocket and into the well. Oh, my Lord, he thought. So he knelt down and he said 3 Hail Marys. And then when he pulled the bucket up from the well, there were the keys inside the bucket. Although Ignatius was blind for the last 2 years of his life, he still went out among the people asking for alms and help and support. He did that until his death on this day, May 11th, in the year 1781. His tombstone has this Latin inscription, Cum sanctitatis acclamatione. That means everybody called him a saint. I think he would listen to your prayers and to mine today, just that he listened to all the prayers of the people when he went among them on the streets. So if you need something today, pray to St. Ignatius and ask him to help you. Meanwhile, now we can stand and we can say some prayers ourselves.